Every summer Top 100. Every summer Top 100. He's got a voice that's really the bomb. He'll make a choice that'll aggravate Tom. I hate to spoil it, but when all's said and done, Merchant of Venus gonna be number one. Every summer Top 100.
Welcome back to the Top 100. Last time I snuck into my older child's room to look at the games he's been holding on his shelf, and now, before we head into number 30 to 21, I thought we could check out what the 9-year-old has acquired for himself on his shelves. We've got Vampires of the Night, Monopoly Junior, Mustache Smash. It's a dexterity game with these fake mustaches. The Home Alone game, which I've tried to get rid of a couple of times, and he's rescued to bring into here. Duck, Duck, Go. He won Sword Crafters at a convention that he went to. Dragoon he really took to and wanted to get. He bought that at a game store, saw it on display, and tried out a couple of turns and said, yeah, Dad, I really want that game. Baron Stark. Of course, the classics end up in here, Chutes and Ladders, and Mousetrap, which they played at a convention and really, really wanted to play. Busy Busy Airport was a gift from Jeff Engelstein. Bugs in the Kitchen, Bugaloop, those are the ones with the the motorized bugs that sort of travel along and do cool things. Candyland Dungeon, the Dungeons and Dragons game. Monza, Igloo Pop, Outfoxed, fun deduction game. Dozens Donuts, and Monopoly Hotels. You can just barely see that up there. It's like the only way you can display that stupid box. It is so, like, look at this. This is so annoying. Yeah. See? Like, how do you store that box? It barely holds together once you've opened it a few times. So you have to basically display it. Ugh. Anyway, let's get to the top 100.
Number 30, Firefly.
Number 30 is Firefly, and it's a little unrecognizable because I have it in this very heavy Broken Token crate, which I stained and everything. It was quite the adventure putting this all together. Let's see how well we can show off what's in here without dropping it and breaking it, which would make me very sad. Firefly is an adventure game with a good bit of a pick up and deliver aspect to it. You have various ships, and am I going to be able to pull out any of the ships? I'm probably not. I'm just going to make a giant mess if I attempt to pull all this out. But look at all this stuff. This is very heavy. I have all of the expansions in here. I got the rollout map. I've got all sorts of stuff. But you've got a ship, and you've got cargo spaces, and you've got slots for equipment, and you're flying around, and you are adding to your crew, adding to your equipment, picking up cargo, picking up contraband, or passengers, or not shady passengers as well. You can hide them in secret compartments in your ship. All sorts of cool stuff, all in the Firefly television show universe. All of the characters from the show, both the main characters and also like every minor character they ever ran into, are in this game. Different ship designs and captains and all of that. And there is a real sense of adventure to Firefly, where you'll go on some sort of encounter and maybe you'll get by just by the skin of your teeth because you happen to have a particular crew member in your deck or a particular trait in your crew that's going to help you out very much, or you just have to roll the dice. And even then, it uses an exploding die mechanism, so if you get a 6, you can roll again, and then roll again if you get another 6, which means that no matter what the odds are against you, you can complete whatever task is in front of you. Firefly is a long game. It is a big game, but it is also a really fun game. And if you're a fan of the Firefly universe, it's just dripping with theme, all the way down to the paper money in the game, which is just so well. In fact, here, let me just show it off. I mean, look at that. That's the paper money, which is, Paper money can be a throwaway item in a game, but that is detailed. It's got art all over the place. You actually feel like, yeah, I want to use that. Firefly is so much fun, and especially if you play maybe one of the more streamlined scenarios, it can move at a pretty good clip, but the adventure is really what you're here for, and that's why I'm building crates for it, and it's why Firefly is my number 30.
Number 29. Wave goodbye. Is that it?
Wave goodbye. New to the list, and my highest ranking game that I don't actually have on hand, is Wavelength. I think my favorite party game of 2019. It's a team-based game where you're trying to get your teammates to guess where on a spectrum a particular word falls. So say the spectrum is tasty to not tasty, and I have randomly determined that I need to get them to guess the, what would this be, the 11 o'clock position. And so then I would say something like, cotton candy. And then my team, because they don't know it's the 11 o'clock position I'm trying to go for, they try and guess where on that dial cotton candy falls in the tasty to not tasty spectrum. And so that has a lot to do with who I am, what they think, and they're going to argue about it, and they sort of put that dial in a particular position. Then the other team gets to say which side of that dial, the pointer, they think it goes, sort of a higher or lower circumstance. Then we reveal, and if my team is absolutely right, we get maximum points, but if the other team has guessed the bullseye in the correct direction, they will score points as well. It's a blast, and offers really fun opportunities for discussion and just a grand old time, which is what you want out of a party game. It's a little cerebral, but also a little silly at the same time. Wavelength, number 29.
Number 28. Bus.
Bus is a pick up and deliver game and one of the earliest examples of worker placement. You are given 20 of those workers' cubes at the beginning of the game, and that is all of the actions that you are going to get. You could spend them all in the first turn. You will lose if you do that, but you could. You have to spend at least 2 of them, but beyond that, it's up to you. So do you hold back and do just 2 actions every round, or do you push? When do you push and do an extra 3rd or even 4th action? You are selecting whether you're increasing your bus fleet, you're putting new businesses on the board, you're driving your buses around, you're building these routes where you're connecting businesses, and there's a different thing that the passengers want at any given moment based on the time of day. They're going to want to go to work or go home or go to the pub, and you are trying to manipulate that and work with that in order to score points before anybody else takes that passenger and puts it at that business. Bus is a splatter game. It is one of those much more difficult than it seems at first. Bus actually looks very cute, although the new version, there's a new edition that looks a little more adult. The original art is very cartoony and silly and has lots of board game references in it. But it is a heavier game than it appears at first glance. Bus, however, is fantastic. Well worth a look.
Number 27. Gizmos.
Gizmos. It's a game by Phil Walker Harding from Come On Games. And this is another one with a bunch of marbles that do cool things. You have all these marbles in a hopper, and 6 of them are available to you at any given moment. You are then spending actions to draw these marbles, to pick them randomly from the hopper, and spend these marbles to build gizmos, build little devices that are going to allow you to do cool stuff, translating certain colors into other colors of marbles, draw free marbles when you take a pick action. And as your tableau increases, your synergy also increases, and one action cascades into another action, which then cascades into this and that and the other thing, and so you can create these, not exactly loops, but cascades of stuff as you get better and better gizmos into your system and race to complete the game and get more points than your opponent. It's colorful, it's fun, it ends just as you're really getting super excited. I wish it went like 1 or 2 more rounds, but that's often a good thing too, because I want to play more of Gizmos.
Number 26, Robo Rally.
Number 26, Robo Rally, the game of robotic combat and robot programming. I do prefer this edition, or even the previous edition, to the more recent sort of deck building revision of Robo Rally, although I do still have that in the collection and have played it. This is the one that I was able to get, for one thing, the Avalon Hill, not the original Wizards of the Coast printing, but the Avalon Hill printing. You have a robot, and you have a bunch of cards that tell it to move forward, turn left, turn right, and you are programming cards in different registers to move your robot around, to tag flags, and shoot the other robots, maybe push them into a cliff, ride conveyor belts, dodge crushers. Every map has certain dangers that you are trying to avoid. Over the years, I've collected some additional figures from earlier sets, which is why this is so heavy. Some extra maps to play with. There's so much customization. Don't make the map too big, though. That's a rookie mistake. But Robo Rally is a lovely game of programming, and my number 26.
Number 25, Mice and Mystics.
Mice and Mystics has dropped a little bit in recent years. It was in the top 10 for a long time, and my son's number 1 game for a long time. Mice and Mystics is a cooperative adventure. You are a human who has been turned magically into a mouse, and a prince who has been turned into a mouse, and you are trying to save the kingdom, really, from an evil witch. The beauty of this is this modular board where a particular adventure will have you laying out certain tiles, and some elements of this board, the art elements, will be important in that adventure and some will not. And then you will lay out that same tile in a future adventure and suddenly something else is much more important. There is a flip system, so a tile that you're on, say, the ground floor of the castle, and then you can go down a crack in the wall and it flips over and now you're in a different section of the castle, the basement or a catacomb or something like that. And that working through, the up and down and in and out of various areas, and the expansion, Downwood Tales, offers overlays of trees and stuff that make it that much more complex. Great, simple to understand combat system where you're just looking for symbols as you roll the dice, and a storybook that follows you along all the different adventures. I actually was reading the stories to my son as bedtime reading to get him interested in the characters. Yes, I had an ulterior motive to get him interested in playing this. Mice and Mystics still holds a special place in our hearts as one of the first adventures that we played together as a family. It's been replaced by perhaps another Plaid Hat product. Yeah, but Mice and Mystics is still a solid game, and it's good to see it back in print. I think there's new printings available of some of the expansions. Well worth a play. Mice and Mystics.
Number 24, Xia Legends of Drift System.
Oh, this is why you're tuning in, I'm sure, to watch me struggle to get things out of the closet. Xia, Legends of a Drift System, has gotten significantly heavier since I put a... Oh my goodness, it's quite heavy. I got an insert for it it's lovely. I should show it to you because it's so cool, but here we go. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Such lovely organization for all of the pieces. I love Xia because of its customization of ships. It's a pick up and deliver game, but it has other ways to earn points as well. There's exploration as you're discovering various tiles. It has this customization aspect where you can put equipment in your ship in sort of like there's these polyomino tiles. Plus the game, as its base, now I can't remember how I open this. Here we go. Those are pre-painted miniature ships That's pretty cool that that is just the base game. It is such a cool exploration game, and it's not quite as much of a pick up and deliver. I mean, the pick up and deliver aspect of this game is there, but it is not as much of an emphasis as it is in some of my other favorite pick up and deliver games in space, maybe. But Zaya is a solid adventure game, and one that I need to bring out more often and maybe teach to the children. I love the customization in Zaya, Legends of a Drift system. Number 24.
Number 23. Eclipse.
Number 23, Eclipse. A game of space exploration and combat. It is a 4X game. There's a lot of resource management in this game, which is what I think I like about it. The more colonization you do, the more planets you discover, the more money you will get. And then you've got this sort of matte player board in front of you that displays how much income you've got and how many different resources you'll be achieving. And then each race has different ships. You are customizing those ships. You can make a bunch of little tiny ones that are easy to destroy but have huge firepower, or some sort of dreadnought that has a bunch of hull that can take tons of damage but moves very slowly. I love that aspect of Eclipse, and it doesn't hit the table as often. I think just because of its playtime. I have yet to play the new revision, Second Dawn for the Galaxy, but it's one that is on my list to try out because I love the original so much. Eclipse.
Number 22. Valley of the Kings.
I have 2 copies of my number 22. One of them lives in this quiver, and that's Valley of the Kings, one of my favorite deck building games. There were 3 mini sort of standalone expansions for Valley of the Kings that I picked up all of them and just threw them all in this quiver. But it is a deck building game with an Egyptian theme, and you have not only powers and abilities on the cards that you're using, but you also have a point value in the corner. And so you're acquiring cards from this cool pyramid structure. You have like 1 card, then 2 cards, and then 3 cards. And you can only buy from the bottom of the pyramid, and then the pyramid crumbles and sort of cards cascade down. I think that's just a really cool system. But the cards aren't worth anything from a point perspective until you entomb them by placing them off to the side out of your deck. But that is how they're worth points. And the point structure is also pyramidal. So the more of a particular suit you're able to entomb, unique cards, by the way, you can't just get multiple copies of the same card, the more they're worth. And it can get very, very lucrative for those larger sets to get that extra one that you don't have yet. But by removing a card from your deck, you no longer have it as a useful power as you play it. So it's a difficult decision. And so when do you, or how often, it's often about getting cards out of your deck, entombing as much as you possibly can, more than your standard free entombment that you're allowed to do. But you want to do more than that. And getting the ability to do that more than once on a turn is important. Valley of the Kings is a lovely gem. In fact, I have purchased the other copy, is the deluxe version, which I think is in here somewhere. Maybe I'll find it. Anyway, number 22, Valley of the Kings.
Hey,
look, I found it. I told you I'd find it.
Number 21. Stop Thief.
Number 21, Stop Thief. This is the new 2nd edition. I haven't broken into it yet. That just sort of revises things just a little bit. Stop Thief has been a tremendous hit with my family, especially my eldest child, the 12-year-old. It is a hide-and-seek game with multiple different modes. When Restoration Games revitalized the 1979 classic, they not only brought the basic version where all the players are competing to catch the mystery person who is running around the board. But there is also a cooperative mode where everyone works together to catch the mystery person, or actually a mystery team running around the board, or a one versus many mode where one player hides somewhere on the board and moves around and moves secretly using the app that runs the whole thing, and everybody else tries to catch them, which is the way my son loves to play. It's a wonderful production. The rules are cool. I love the fact that there are multiple modes that you get in one purchase or one upload, one download of the app. It is a solid game, and one that's been a huge hit with my family. Number 21, Stop, Thief. Well, there you go. So I poke a little fun at the games that my kids are excited about, but the point is I get to play with them, and usually when these things hit the table I get to play, and you know, that's the fun of it, right? We got more of the Top 100 on the horizon. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Every summer, Top 100. 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 Every summer, Top 100.